everyone, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope everyone has a lovely Thursday. I'm here in my flat in Rochester and yeah, it's a dull dreary day, but it's January, isn't it? So it's cold and it's been raining outside, so it's all damp outside and wet. So just another English British day. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. Get the neeps and tatties ready. Tonight is Burns Night, which celebrates the life and works of the poet Robert Burns. To get you in the mood, you can ask me to read Address to a Haggis.
I don't know what she actually said there. Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. The time is 8:26 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Thursday, the 25th of January.
Alexa, what's the weather like?
Right now in Rochester, it's 8 degrees Celsius with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has showers, with a high of 12 degrees and a low of 8 degrees.
I must remember to pack my umbrella when I go out later on. Yeah. Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
Why did Bilbo Baggins always eat his lunch at noon? He was a creature of Hobbit.
Alexa, whose birthday is it today?
Today's famous birthdays include American actress Avantika Vandenapue, Ariana DeBose, 6th President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky, Spanish professional footballer Xavi, and American musician, singer, composer and actress Alicia Keys.
Alexa, who is Avantika Vandenapue?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, who is Avantika Vandenapue? I don't know. Alexa won't tell me, but that is one hell of a name, isn't it? Avantika Vandenapue. It's one hell of a name to say, isn't it? Vladimir Zelensky. Wow. So I'm here in my flat this morning. Yeah, it's Thursday. My mum wanted me to go up there today, but I've got other arrangements, so I can't. So it's very noisy this morning outside when all the kids, obviously kids go to school and they make noises, don't they? They do, that's what kids do, they make noises. I used to do it when I was a kid. So it's very noisy this morning, but I was up already anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I sleep with the window open to get some fresh air if it's mild, and it was mild. It was mild last night, so I left the window open. So yeah, I went out last night. I took Max out for a walk. There was lots of people about. I had to keep dodging out the way of people, couples mainly, walking together, having a night walk holding hands. There was about 3 or 4 different sets of couples walking up and down the road last night whilst I was on my own walking my dog, and I'm quite happy, honestly, to be on my own. I've come to terms with that now. I'm not looking anymore. I'm just getting on with things by myself, because what was happening at my other address was men were just using me. They didn't, oh, I like older women. Oh, I won't do the same as other men have done to you. And what happens? They do exactly the same thing. Tired of it, so I'm happy by myself. Just getting on with things. I'm actually getting things done, doing things that I would normally leave because when I'm on I'd be on WhatsApp all day talking to this anonymous person. I don't know who they were, because they were using fake profile pictures. So you're on the phone talking to you don't know who. And before you know it, hours and hours have gone by. I've got nothing done. I haven't done the washing up. I haven't eaten, and I'm just been sat there on my phone. It's a complete waste of time. Just trying to get me to give them photographs, and as you can see in all my videos, including TikTok, you know, I'm tired of all that. You can get views without stripping all your clothes off. So yeah, I took Max out, came back in. It was a strange call. I don't know who phoned me from Newton Abbot in Devon. I'm quite happy. I've got a decent accommodation. Where I live is near the river. I mean, there's swans, there's birds, all the noises you hear when you go out in the morning. It's beautiful, right? So people can't say to me, I've got this and I've got that. Well, good for you, because I'm happy with what I've got. So that really doesn't matter what you've got to me. And you find that they get annoyed and cross themselves because they are not annoying you. And the stupid things they do to try and annoy you, like take your stuff away, ring on the buzzer with parcels for other people. I mean, it really doesn't matter. And eventually I will move out to somewhere a little less noisy. I don't like blocks of flats, and that's all they're building now is blocks and blocks and blocks of flat, and it's like a concrete jungle with no, you know, soon all the trees will be gone, all the oxygen, people won't be able to breathe because we're getting overpopulated, people are living longer, da 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 da, and you can see what's going to happen in the future. I'm glad when I was born, I'm glad when I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and I'm glad the age I am now, and I'm glad, I'm happy, and I'm resolving issues from my past, which is good. It's not dragging me down anymore. I'm learning to work through it, to understand that getting angry is not the way to go about things, and nor drink or drugs or sleeping around. It's just being you, because I am a naturally quiet, reserved person. When I came down in 2008, my mother Jennifer was this loud, aggressive person, yelling, shouting, and that is not me. So I don't want to be like that. I don't like shouting at people. I don't like getting cross. And you can deal with things in a positive manner. I tried to get a therapy book out on cognitive therapy, and I was getting well with it. And then things went downhill again because I listened to my mother. I listened to her. And she made me angry. She hates people. She hates what she's been through, and she's very sour, and she's very bitter, and she was influencing me. She was influencing me and making me cross with other people. And that, I don't like being like that. So away from my mum, I'm a quiet, reserved person. My mum stirs things up. She mentions children that I don't see. She mentions things that upsets me, and it's hard not to get triggered when you've had, especially when you've had a bad day. It's hard not to get triggered, but I'm learning not to get triggered. Sometimes I'm just a human being. I will get triggered, and I will let all hell break loose, and then it's out, and then it's all calm again. But I tried to do that in my own flat rather than outside, making a spectacle of myself. Last night I watched The Traitors. I know it's orchestrated, it's staged, but I want to watch something on the telly, so I watched The Traitors last night. I did watch The Traitors. There was a guy in there that was voted out. His mother was in there as well. She was voted out before him. I don't know whether his mother's name was Diane or something like that, but Ross was voted out last night. Ross, his mother had been voted out in a previous episode. So I've been watching The Traitors for a while. I didn't watch it from the beginning, but I've been watching The Traitors on BBC One. And then I flicked around and there was a Terminator film on. Terminator. So I watched some of like Terminator 4, I think it was, while I was sat down playing games on my phone. You can be okay by yourself. I'm not saying I wouldn't like some company, that I wouldn't like, you know, a date, that I wouldn't like a cup of coffee with somebody, but I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate. No, I'm not. And if you act desperate, no one's going to go near you anyway. So I'm not desperate for company. I've got my cat, 2 cats, and I've got Max, who's great company, and I keep myself busy. My pets keep me busy, like small kids keep parents busy. They make a mess. Well, the kitten is just like tipping everything upside down, knocking things over, trying to scratch my sofa up. So that keeps you occupied, and I do feel that this year is going fleeting by. I mean, they're making plans for Easter, aren't they? And then there's Red Nose Day again. Comic Relief is being advertised. That's March, isn't it? Comic Relief. And just a never-ending round and round thing where things happen and events all through the year, and then another year's gone. So this is why I want this year to mean something to me. Even if I've not got anyone, I'm doing things, I'm making progress, I'm not sat down being miserable, because life does just go like that and you can't go back, you have to go forward. And sitting there moaning and complaining is not going to get anything done. You can do it in a positive, good way rather than screaming, shouting. Other people can influence you, but they can influence you in the wrong way. And screaming, shouting, being nasty and horrible to people is not the way to go about things. It is not. So guys, today I have an appointment. My mum did not ring me yesterday afternoon, neither did she yesterday evening. Excuse me. Which doesn't matter, does it? When you give what people give to you, but in a positive way, because my mum picks up the phone, Ginestra. So when she spoke to me, I went, yes, no, I probably won't be seeing you Thursday, what about Friday, I don't know. And people don't like it when it's done to them, you see. They don't, when you return what they are doing to you, they don't like it. They don't like it. I don't like it when it's done to me. I don't like it when someone picks up the phone. Janestra, I don't like it. They don't like it either, so perhaps they'll learn not to do it. That's how you make them realise, I'm not going to put up with that behaviour. I'm not putting up with it. I'm not going to shout at you. I'm not going to get cross. But it's not nice, is it? Bullying somebody is not nice. And when you return the favour gently, you don't have to shout at a bully. You don't have to yell and scream. You just give them a taste of their own medicine. And they do not like it. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
I would argue there are parts of London and cities such as Birmingham and Liverpool where that's already the case. Stan, thank you. Safe gardening. Emma's in Croydon, just next to Richard. Emma, you're on the radio. Hello.
Hello.
What you can tell me?
Thanks for taking my call. I work for an outcome charity. I go and I give workshops about the side effects of people carrying knives.
Right.
I had a son who was involved in knife crime and gangs,
Right.
and I knew that
Where
he
is
was
he
involved
now?
in it. He's very well now. He's
Okay.
out of it all.
Okay,
He's,
fine.
he's turned 21 at the end of this month.
Okay. No, I was pretty carefully in case he lost his life or something. That's what I was a bit nervous
Yeah,
about. Right.
no,
Okay.
well, this is the thing. I took the next steps. I'd done something that most parents wouldn't do, and I called the police on him. It was very hard to get any support from the police, even once I told them that he was involved in gangs and knives and drugs and selling, and they didn't want to know at first. So I had to do that call.
How difficult was it to shop your son?
It was awful. It was one of those things. It was, as a parent, you want to protect, and I didn't want to criminalise him, but at the same time, I looked at his lifestyle, and I knew I had about 6 months before I buried him.
What did the
So I
police
had to
do?
initially nothing. They just kept saying to report him as a missing person, which I was doing. I know that he was going off in jaunts. He was involved in county
I
life.
was going to say, is it county life? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just kept saying report him as a missing person. And eventually, it was a few years ago with Extinction Rebellion when they was doing their
Oh yeah.
protest.
Yeah.
And it was that time when that happened. And I called them, and it took them about 4 to 5 hours to actually attend the property.
Right.
And they eventually came round and they said, I showed them the videos that he put up of it with the drugs, the money, the knives in his bedroom, and they said that they couldn't do anything. And I pleaded with the police officer.
So what did he got nicked?
Eventually, yeah, initially they wasn't going to take him in, and I said to the police officer, I was desperate, and I said to her, he has a tattoo, and I said, when you find him in the ditch dead, no, it's my son, no, it's me, you've got to come and tell. And she went and spoke to another sergeant, and she said, yeah, we're taking him in.
Was that the turning point for your boy?
Yeah, most definitely.
Is he working
Yeah.
now?
Yes, he's working. He works for his father, so he does
Okay.
engineering.
And how's the relationship between you and the son you shot to the cops?
It's always been very strange. It's always been strange, but we had a discussion a couple of months ago, and he said that he's 75% sure that if he didn't get off it when he did, he would be dead now.
I don't think I've spoken to someone who's done that before. Emma, fascinating conversation. And I'm going to say well done for what you did. It couldn't have been easy. Thank you, Emma. Someone whose identity asked to keep, and of course I shall respect that. I'm a serving police officer. I've worked in the gangs unit for a long time. I think jail time for anyone who carries a knife is a bad idea. The system would not be able to facilitate it. It needs to be done proportionally. Also, I had one here from someone who also said, here we go. Can I give your name? Yeah, I can. Okay. Oh, you're retired. Paul says, I'm now retired from the Met, but in 30 years of service, I've arrested lots of people with multiple previous convictions for carrying knives. I've never seen anyone sentenced to 6 months in jail for being in possession of a knife. Dear God. Robert in Whitehaven. What do you think is the solution, Robert? Hello.
Hi, Nick. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Your view.
Right, well, I agree with the case that was on before, and the guy who was saying about the youth workers, being a lack of youth workers over the last 10 years, so that must have effect as well. But I'm 16 next month, and when I was a kid, we used to run about in the woods with a shaved knife off our little snake belt and,
Yes.
look about like we used to, but what we weren't subjected to is what you can get subjected to now on the internet and on TV and on all these films, the violence and everything like that. Because banning knives, I do agree, it has to be a starting point there, but it isn't the solution. You have to look at the root cause, because if you ban knives, these people who are willingly going out looking for violence to kill people. If it isn't a knife, it'll be a screwdriver. If it isn't a screwdriver, it'll be a chisel. If it isn't a chisel...
Yeah, I get the point. So that is what you think.
Yeah. But the common denominator to me is social media, the internet, and what kids now can be subjected to on.
Which you're right. When I was growing up, it hadn't even been invented. Robert, thank you for that. We'll continue with this. Also coming up in the next hour, a plan. British homes for British people. The idea that British families would be placed up the housing list, the queue on the housing list for a council and other housing association accommodation built here. Seems to make sense to me, but some are furious. We'll have more on that in the next hour. 8:45, LBC News headlines, Thomas Watts.
The policing ministers told Nick the Premier League is working on a solution over the cost of policing football matches. The latest attempt to crack down on the sale and possession of so-called zombie knives will be put before MPs later. And the Foreign Secretary's told Israel's Prime Minister that peace in the region relies on a two-state solution. LBC weather, most places cloudy and quite unsettled, a high of 13 Celsius.
LBC Travel, I'm Joanne Webb. Slightly better news now for the M1 southbound at junction 10 at Luton Airport. All the lanes have just reopened. That lorry which broke down earlier has now been recovered. It's still very slow for about half an hour. At least everything's back open. Long delays, though, continue on the A3 southbound to the Malden junction. It's slow from before Shannon Corner. Those emergency works are still taking place and only one lane is open. In Enfield Lock, the Ordnance Road remains blocked both ways because the level crossing barriers are stuck down. On the Underground, there are severe delays on the Central line because of this ongoing shortage of trains, which also means there are minor delays on the Piccadilly line between Acton Town and Heathrow and Acton Town and Uxbridge.
This is LBC.
Okay, that's 6 of the ragu and the linguine. Make a move, everyone, please.
The custom...
Right guys, like I said, I'm just going to get on with my day, just doing my own thing. See you later.